So there's been some chatter recently about fitness standards in the military, what those look like currently, what those should look like. So will you kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and tell us more about those fitness standards? Like what do they look like over the past couple of decades? How have they evolved? What are we looking at for the future?
Absolutely. So if you look back to 70s, 80s, 90s military standards, it was very meat and potatoes. It was push-ups, it was sit-ups, it was a run, potentially a swim. If you were in the Navy or potentially the Marine Corps, but it was very meat and potatoes. It was you either can or cannot do this number of an exercise. But I think it left a lot to the imagination, and it left a lot on the table as far as maximizing potential, not only in recruiting but retention, and like I said, keeping our sled dogs or our operators or our service members moving at a high level of capacity for a long enough period of time. So back in the day, very much so, you had a PT test, you either passed it or you failed. There was no gray area, there was no room for interpretation, and I think it was somewhat two-dimensional. As we've moved into the modern era, it's become a lot more metric based. So that's opened the door for things like VO2 max capabilities. That's opened the door for, man, what does our sleep look like? It's opened the door for PT tests that are more tailored to individual AFSCs, MOSs, rates, depending on the branch you're in, and then taking those individual objective metrics, piecing them together for that total readiness score. In truth, man, our leadership, and this was the case when I was in a leadership position towards the end of my career, a lot of what we were making decisions off of was, minimal data points. And we are in a time and a place where we have the capabilities to get a much deeper look into our formations. And it goes so much beyond just the actual physical fitness standards of our individuals. When you think about the possibility, the potential to data archive, man, from cradle being basic military training all the way to grave being when individuals exit the military, that data repository of, man, this is what a successful individual for this specific job looks like, and how much more tailored our approach could be towards recruiting personnel, and not only recruiting them but maintaining them at maximum efficiency, having a more tailored approach to the individual. And while the military is never going to be holistically about the individual, that's just not the way it's built. It's built around the mindset of we build everybody to a standard. I do think there's some applicability for having a more tailored approach to physical fitness for the individual job sets. That to me makes sense. Now the individual as, one of us, me, you, Tom, and Sue, that makes a little less sense. There's too many variables there, but what we absolutely can do is I can say this particular job, based off of historical data, requires this left and right limit, and anything that falls in between that left and right limit is going to be a highly successful individual that has this percentage chance to give us high level of workload